I think just maturity in some spots, youth in some spots, a little bit of a lack of continuity in a couple of areas, and that's probably been the biggest thing, And we've played some really good teams. I mean, we've played some elite quarterbacks, man. Nobody wants to give any credit to. So all of a sudden you maybe don't bring your A game, but every year's a different deal. Just like every week's a different week. And look around college football, that was awesome I had my whole day laid out. I'm like people do this every week. It was a blast. I wrote it out like a kid, I had all the noon games, I had all the 3:30 games, and then I had all the night games. And then I didn't even know I had it on my TV, but I have this thing called tiling, where you can have like 4 games, and it was the greatest thing ever. I literally just watched football all day, took notes, made mental notes as well, and just it was a blast watching football. But again, you just get reminded how hard it is to win. You got undefeated teams barely beating 3 and 5 teams, down to the last play. It's football. It's college football. The record stuff, man, you better show up and be ready to play. It's there's some crazy things. We had one team get beat 49-0. Holy cow, right? There's just crazy things that happen in football. 8 turnovers. 8. It's a 14-13 game, and so I got a chance to see some future opponents. It's a 14-13 game on the road in the third quarter, and you feel like and then you have 6 turnovers in a quarter. Good luck with that. It's just crazy. But that's football. That's football. That's why you never know. That's why you got to play the game. You line up and play the game. It's not about, Coach Stallings used to always say that, right? How many times y'all heard me say that story? Coach Stallings, he'd say, hey, brother, any game ain't played on paper, right? And he'd say, hey, man, if it was played on paper, I'd walk out there with my team, my plan, my roster, and the other coach would walk out there with his team, his plan, his roster, and the referee'd he'd look at it, and the crowd would go, ooh and ah, and then the ref would go, winner, right? But that's not real life. That's not real life. You compare rosters to some of these teams that win and lose. It's different. It's not played on paper. It's not. Thank God. If it was played on paper, we ain't got 2 national championships in the last few years and all that stuff. Because you go back. Heck, we weren't supposed to beat LSU, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Alabama. We ain't supposed to beat a lot of these people. Notre Dame. So thankfully, the game's not played on paper. It's played by people, and we got a bunch of good people here.
Any questions for Coach from Zoom?
Hey, Dabo.
Go ahead.
I know number 7, Isaiah Foskey, is dangerous off the edge, but what does Notre Dame's pass rush look like in terms of how often they'll blitz and what they like to do on 3rd down?
Yeah, they'll mix it up. They do a good job, really, coverage-wise. 2 safety, 1 safety, 2 deep, 2-man, quarters. They do a little bit of everything. They're very well coached. They do have very good edge pressure guys. 7 is special for sure. 9's really good too. And those guys roll in there. 99 is a big, strong kid. They're thick inside. The backers, they'll use them effectively. These guys have played a million snaps for them. So, it's a really good group, but they're a combination as far as, what they do coverage-wise. They're very multiple.
Dabo, this is Matt. You mentioned Notre Dame winning 4 out of 5, and I know you don't want to look ahead, but obviously Louisville seems like it's playing really well right now. Does it seem like y'all have played some teams when they've been playing their best football so far this year?
Yeah. I think we've had 8 wins, and I think Ross still five of the games we were their first loss, right? So, nobody wants that first loss, and you just we've played some teams that had a lot of fight in them, So I think there's a lot to be said for that. 5 out of 8 games, you played an undefeated team at that point, and you're their first loss, so you're going to get everything that they got. But Notre Dame's actually won 5 out of their last 6, and Louisville. I mean, our everybody. I mean, it seems like every week we know we're going to get everybody's absolute best shot, regardless of what their record is. That just kind of again comes with being at Clemson. So that's why you don't play to an opponent. That's why you don't play to a kick time. That's why you don't play to the scoreboard. That's why you don't play to a record. You better play to a standard, and you have to prepare to a standard week in and week out. It's the biggest game of the year, and teams that don't have that mindset, they're inconsistent. Easier said than done, but it's something that you have to develop with your approach every day.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.